Hi guys, welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a really nice appetizer recipe known as dolmades in Greek. They're stuffed grape leaves. We're doing the vegetarian version today, and they're perfect for entertaining large amounts of guests. The best thing about this is, first of all, you can get your little kids or any little helpers around the house to help you. You can make a large batch of it, and you can make it up to like 3 days before you'll be serving these, because these are the kind of dish that get better with time, right? So the flavor kind of settles in and it just tastes amazing. They're super simple and they're fairly economical to make. The ingredients are really inexpensive and they're pretty healthy. So let's go over the ingredients and then we're going to get started. So we're going to need some grape leaves. I'm using the jarred grape leaves here. I have a pound jar here, but I'm only going to make half a recipe right now. You can totally make the whole recipe and just double this up. We need some rice. I have some long grain rice here. Basmati rice works perfect. Some fresh lemons. Always use fresh lemons. That canned stuff is only good for cleaning. Never drink it or eat it. And then we need some parsley, some mint, salt, pepper, olive oil, and then I have some onions that I'm sauteing here. I've chopped them up really small, and I've cooked them over a medium-low heat until they're nice and golden like this. You don't want them to get too much color. You just want them to be really nice, soft, and just a little bit golden. That takes about 15 minutes, depending on many things. So 15 minutes, you want them to be really nice and soft. Now I'm just gonna juice my lemons and cut my herbs, and then everything gets prepared really quickly. Let me move everything out of the way. So for this size recipe, you only need about half a cup of lemon juice, but you can definitely put more if you like. Our lemon juice is ready. We're going to need about 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, about a tablespoon of mint, and a teaspoon of dill. The herbs are what gives this all of its flavor. And you really want to finely chop these. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add our rice to this and just saute it for just a couple of seconds, up to a minute. And I'm going to increase the heat to high right now. I'll add a little bit of salt, like a half a teaspoon should be fine. A little bit of pepper. I'm going to add about a cup of water and half of my lemon juice. And then I'm just going to cook this for about 6 to 7 minutes until it absorbs all of the water. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. Okay, so it reduces pretty quickly and absorbs all the water. When it gets to this point, after about 5-6 minutes, you want to turn it off the heat. It's going to continue to absorb the liquid. And then we're going to add our herbs in. Mint and our fresh parsley. And the dill. Dry dill is a really good substitute for fresh dill. It still retains a lot of its flavor. It's not like some other herbs really kind of get lost once they get dried, but dill is a really good dried herb to have on hand. So we're just going to mix this up and allow it to cool about 10 minutes. And then in that time, what you want to do, these leaves, they sit in a brine, And you want to kind of rinse them out a little bit. They're still going to have that really nice briny taste, but you want to get rid of a little bit of it. I'm just going to put it under some cold running water and then put it in my strainer, and then they'll be ready to use. So this is what they look like when they come out of the jar, and I've just rinsed them under some cold running water. You could even immerse them in a large bowl and then just take them out and put them in a strainer or colander. They don't have to be completely dry, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off these really thick stems with just a scissor. I'm going to get my scissor and just cut these off so that way they're ready to work with. So you just want to get this stem off. That's all, because it's kind of tough and it won't cook down or soften up, so you just want to get rid of it. And this recipe makes about 25 dolmades, so you're going to need about 25 leaves. Okay, so once you've trimmed all of the tips of the stems off, then by that time your filling should have cooled enough. Now you'll find that some of the leaves are a little bit small or maybe ripped. Those are fine to use as the lining in your pan. And what we're going to do is kind of create a little bed that the dolmades, once they're stuffed, are going to go into. And then we're going to save some for the top as well. And you don't have to cut those stems off, so that's a little less work. But me and these dolmades go way back. Now, me and my sister wanted to treat my parents to a nice dinner, and we had no idea how to make these, but it was my sister's great idea to just go ahead and give it a try. I don't even remember how we made the filling. It was awful. They opened up in the pan and everything was just a big giant mess. But we've come a long way. We've come a really long way, because now I can make these and I can call my parents over and my sister too, and have a good time while they also taste good, while we could actually eat these. So now, I'm going to take a tablespoon. Okay, so what we're going to do, this has actually two sides. The side with the veins of the stem is the side that you're going to be placing the filling on top of. And then the other side is shinier, so we're going to roll it. That's kind of the side that's going to show. And resist the urge to overfill these. I know it looks like a little bit of filling, but it's just the right amount, especially since while they're cooking, the rice right now is just par cooked. It's just halfway cooked. And it's going to continue to cook in here, and it will expand a little bit. So you don't want it to tear through the leaves, and then you'll have like a big mess on your hands. So you want to open it up and place a tablespoon in the center, not more than that. Roll it over, and then tuck the sides in. And then keep rolling, just like that. Now this is where you can get the kids involved, and you can have 100 of these rolled up in no time. Now some recipes call for ground lamb or ground beef inside this. You can do that. If you want me to teach you a recipe on how to do that, just leave it in the comment section down below, and then I'll teach you how to make them with the lamb as well. All right, so we got about 24 of these dolmades. Now you want to put them in your pan very close and tightly together, so that way they don't open when they're cooking in here. They start to come apart, just tuck them back in and roll them a little bit. And you want the seam to be facing down. At this point, you want to add the rest of your lemon juice, some olive oil, A little bit of salt, just a tiny bit because these are pretty briny. Just a little bit of black pepper. And then you want to just barely cover these with some water. Just like that. So now what we want to do is put the leaves on top after we season it and pour the water. And then take a plate and invert it to add some weight to keep them down while they're cooking so they don't open up. Just like that. Turn your heat on high. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce it to a simmer, and we're going to let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes until the water is almost pretty much dried. Now you might open it up and find out that there's still a little bit of water. The more as they sit and they cool, the rice will absorb all of the water and it'll be completely ready with just a little bit of like water and just flavor on the bottom. So between like 35 to 40 minutes is really what it takes for these to be completely ready. Okay, so it's beginning to come to a boil at this point. You could see the water bubbling at the side of the plate. At that point, just reduce it to a simmer and leave it alone for about 40 minutes. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready. Okay, so they're ready. It took about 40 minutes for them to completely cook and absorb the liquid. There was a little bit more liquid in the pan, but they need to cool for at least 30 minutes before you can actually take them out and serve them. And in that time, as you can see, all of the water has been completely absorbed, and all that's left is a little bit of olive oil and then a little bit of the lemon juice and the juices from the leaves, and they look beautiful. And it was just that easy to make. The best way to serve these is with tzatziki sauce. I have the recipe on this page as well as on my website, and I'll definitely be posting the links down below so that way you can serve these with that delicious tzatziki sauce. And then you put them on here on your plate. Get my tongs. Probably better to use your fingers because they're very delicate once they're cooked. And these can be served hot or cold, but traditionally they're served cold, like that. You can drizzle a little bit more olive oil on these. So when you're using olive oil to drizzle on something that's not going to get cooked, you want to use really high quality, extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil. And you'll know that it's good quality when it's really nice and green. And my favorite olive oil comes from Crete. I may be biased because I'm from Crete, but it really is delicious. Give it a try. I'll also post a link below where I get my olive oil. It's really good. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside. And there's no better way to do it than to take a bite out of it first. So good. You can taste the herbs, especially the mint. You can taste the lemon as well. And personally, I would have probably put a little more lemon. So make it one time and see if you want it more lemony. You can kind of take it from there. Look at the rice. Perfectly cooked, not mushy. You could see the herbs. Make sure you guys give this one a try. I'm gonna have this some tzatziki, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.